Studio mode. Stop recording button.
Yeah, hey, this is Blind Guy Doing Stuff. I'm going to do a quick little video on Syria. What's going on in Syria? Something caught my attention on the news today and in the Middle East. A very sad situation over there going on right now. Um, kind of what is happening is what I thought would happen. Assad said they were going to let the refugees, let the rebels out and people trapped in Aleppo out. But apparently about halfway through the evacuation, they got a bunch of people out. Somebody opened fire on the convoy and it's gone back to chaos over there. I really didn't think Assad was going to let the rebels or let a lot of those people go somewhere else, because guess what? If they go somewhere else, they're just going to be, in his mind, causing trouble for him. So, a really sad situation. I just kind of want to make a quick video on how did we get here, um, and it's kind of some of the things I think possibly should go on. So how we got here, and you really can't convince me this otherwise, and no one can produce any compelling evidence that if we did not have the Iraq War back in 2003, that we would actually have a Syria war today. I don't think if George Bush and all his fan base, and a lot of the Democrats were in on this too, and a lot of Democrats, people, not politicians, were in on the cheerleading for Iraq. I really think if that didn't happen, that it would not be a Syrian war. And but there was, and it did happen. And George Bush went into Iraq, and they were there for a while and everything was kind of okay. But then there was an event where John Bolton, they sent him over there to become sort of like the czar of Iraq, or what he was there to do, and he disbanded all of the government of Iraq and all the military, and they just sent him home, which shows that later all those people, they had jobs one day, the next day they don't have jobs, they just get sent home. They become a lot of the resistance. They don't want us here. Well, why would you want us here? You just lost your job. You just got kicked out. And remember what they tried to do. And the plan was, and a lot of this is forgotten, and the media never talks about this, because it was just like a bleep. It only lasted for a couple months because it failed. And it was just, frankly, stupid. The whole idea was they were going to try to create like this libertarian capitalist paradise over there where they just destroy the whole function, the whole infrastructure of the Iraqi government, and they were literally going to make democracy and rise it up from the dust of the bomb craters and make this sort of paradise of capitalists. And one of the businesses I remember hearing specifically, oh well, Taco Bell is going to come over here, and then we're going to get McDonald's, and we're going to get all these people over here, and it's just going to be like this wonderful little democracy in Iraq. Well, that's just hilarious, and it didn't last very long. And after they sent the government employees home, the resistance really got started, and it just went on and on. You had the Sunni rebels, and you had all this. And then in the past couple of years, you had ISIS, and then Al Qaeda as well. Al Qaeda's always been there, and so all this sort of spilled in a big cauldron of chaos, spilled off into Syria. Now, our man Bernie Sanders got made fun of a lot on the campaign trail when he said that global warming helped create ISIS. A lot of people made fun of him for saying that. Well, that is actually true. And if you're one of these people that doesn't believe in global warming, then let's put it this way. A drought helped create ISIS, because there was a drought, or is a drought, that went on in the Syria farmland, and a lot of those people couldn't provide for their families anymore. They couldn't make it anymore, and so they went into the cities. And when in the cities, they had unemployment, and they were in those cauldron of chaos, and it just escalated until eventually the Arab Spring came, and then the it just blew up. The Syrians threw their hat in the ring. I remember they said, okay, yeah, we're going to try this Arab Spring thing, protest, 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 and then Assad's like, oh, we had enough of this, and they start cracking down on it. Well, they crack down and crack down, and then eventually they pick up arms, and guess what? This is where we start talking about Hillary Clinton and Obama, where they messed up, because they're like, oh, well, we want to do a regime change, so they start funding the rebels, and they start pumping all this cash and military weapons in there, and before you know it, boom, civil war in Syria. And so there's a whole lot of people to put the blame on for this, including Obama, including HRC. They all had a part of this. They all messed it up. But the people behind it, their constituencies, the people of the United States, also have a very large responsibility for this chaos in Syria, because throughout 2003, 2004, oh 05, oh 06, all the way up through George Bush, it was like literally cheerleading the Iraq War on the media, on the news. If you spoke out against it in America, you were anti-American. So American people, and then with the Democrats, and then Obama and HRC, well, we don't want to question Obama and them because they know what they're doing, because they're Democrats. And Democrats know what they're doing, so he can be a warmonger and drone people and ask for regime change, and we'll just fine with all that because he's a Democrat. And Democrats drone a lot better than Republicans. See, if a Republican drones somebody, then they doing wrong. If a Democrat drones somebody, then they got the handle on the trigger, the right. They got their finger on the trigger and they killed the right person. So that's sort of the mindset, but it's not the case. I mean, Obama did escalate, and he did do some good things in Syria. They got some of the chemical weapons out, and he tried to he tried to avoid a war. They had that whole "don't cross over the red line" thing. So I mean, Obama did try, but then again, he did try to go for the regime change. That was his big mistake. So what do we do now? Well, what do we do now? Well, this is what I think we're doing, but it's not going to happen. And I'll tell you why it's not going to happen in a minute. But what we do now is we try to begin to heal this chaos. And the way we do that is we start letting in the Syrian refugees. And we let those people in and we take really good care of them. And we start to heal ourselves and the world of this madness that's going on. And people say, oh, well, the Syrian refugees, we don't know who they are, and some could be ISIS, and they're coming over here to get us. Well, that's frankly probably pretty unlikely. But if it is the case, if some ISIS fighter wants to go wait in line for 2, 3 years in a refugee camp before he can finally get sent over here to go shoot up a mall, or like the guy in Ohio come out with a knife and try to kill some people with a knife, if that's the case, then I say, well, you're just gonna have to see what happens, because that's a sorry excuse, because every day something crazy going on in the United States. I mean, just today a police officer got shot in the head in Seattle. 2 weeks ago, a police officer went up the stairs trying a domestic violence call here in Tacoma, got blown down the stairs. I mean, there is nut stuff going on every single day in the United States, all over the place. The news is just filled with, you guys know it, you guys hear it, it is just the craziest news stories. And that's capitalism melting down. We'll get to that on a different video. But to say that some ISIS fighter coming over here with some refugees is actually going to cause us any big problem, it's silly. And it's just a way to say, oh, we won't want to deal with these people. And it was a way for Mr. Trump in the election to rile up all the know-nothings that hate the Muslims, because the Muslims wear those funny hats and they got that funny religion, to get those people fired up and to say we hate the Muslims, and they use those people to get Trump elected. So but it's just not even a big deal. So that's what we need to do, is bring the Syrian refugees in. We need to get our people out of Syria. We need to try to get energy independent so we can just quit even messing around over there in that part of the world. And we need to begin to try to heal this situation, because a lot of people in Syria and Iraq and in that area are probably at this point in their life really angry at the United States. And you know what? I don't blame them. You would be a pretty angry person too if, let's say, Russia came and blew up your town and destroyed it, funded all, just totally destroyed your town, and killed your mom, your dad, your cousins, your whole family. At some point, you are going to get a little angry. So we need to try to heal this situation. Now, why that's not going to happen is because we got Trump in the office, and Trump is, I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, like use bad words or anything, but he doesn't know what he's doing. Actually, he does know what he's doing. He's doing Trump stuff, and it's insane. He says he's gonna go over there and kill ISIS. Well, you're gonna send over your 18 to 20-year-old over there to kill ISIS? Maybe some of you will. If draft paper come to my house for my kid, I'm gonna have to think twice about what to do, because I don't want to send my kids out to fight the wars for Exxon and BP. So, but it's not going to happen, and he's going to keep on. He wants to go over there and crush ISIS. He also appointed today this guy to Israel, to the Israeli diplomat. He wants to appoint this guy who is totally super over-the-top pro-Jewish, anti-Palestinian, and you know he's going to pass right through there. Nobody, no Democrat in Congress has the backbone to stand up to any kind of Jewish appointment because they don't want to stand up to it. And there's a lot of reasons there for that, but he'll get put through. He's anti-Palestinian, so they're going to go over there and just start messing with the Palestinians some more, and that's just going to inflame that region of the world worse. He also wants to move the embassy from Tel Aviv. He wants to move it over to Jerusalem. So that's another big problem. And you know the big problem with that is, and these people running the government is, they all believe actually. And I was listening to this last night on the radio. So there's people that really believe all this stuff in Revelations. And so a lot of people out there want a war in Israel. They want a war in the Middle East. They want a war with Russia. They want a war with all this stuff because guess why? Because in some book written all those years ago, wherever it was written, whoever is written by, they need a war so Jesus can come back. So they're going to get this war. They're going to actually. They don't care. They don't care if there's a big war going on because that's when Jesus comes back. Let's get the war going so he can come back quick. Got to get him back so we can get our 1,000 years of peace. So we're only going to get started on that rant. But so we're living in some dangerous times right now. And Syria is the epicenter of this. And it really, right there, Syria kind of tells us everything that's wrong with the world. Too much militarism, too much capitalism, too many guns, just too much hate. That tells us what's wrong with the world in America. All the Trump people hating on the Syrians, hating on the Muslims. So it's just too much hate out there. So we really need to try to heal this situation. Um, that's my video for today on the Middle East and Syria. So kind of caught my attention today, and hope everybody's having a good Friday. I'm the blind guy doing stuff. Today I'm talking about the Middle East, but I've got some other videos up on some other topics, and we're going to be getting out and doing some actually videos out in the real world pretty soon. So stay tuned to our channel, hit subscribe, and keep up with what the blind guy is doing. So have a good day.
Studio mode. Stop recording button.